Beginning near the Dairy Queen in Rhododendron, Pioneer Bridle roughly parallels US 26 up the southwestern flank of Mount Hood, eventually dumping you off in Government Camp, where you can then access West Leg Road and climb up to Timberline Lodge. Even though it's pretty cool to get to tell people you rode your bike from Roadie to T-Line, unless you're on a gravel grinder, you don't want to start in Rhododendron. The Pioneer Bridle Trail is flat, boring stupidity from Rhododendron for quite a few dull, flat miles next to a highway before it finally crosses Highway 26 and actually gets interesting. If you're planning on climbing up to Timberline Lodge and don't want to end your ride being bored, start here at the halfway mark. Turn left and park here next to the highway. Now that you realize you're just leaving your car exposed in the blazing noonday sun, drive back over to the entrance to the 39 road and park along the 39 road on the other side of the trees where there's shade. If you want to avoid climbing up Laurel Hill, you can actually ride all the way up the 39 road to Zigzag Junction. It's a pretty gentle grade and it avoids the steepest parts of Pioneer Bridle. I recommend you do this if it's a nice weekend because there will be a lot of shuttlers coming down the other direction. The trail should be obvious here, so start climbing up the hill. You're basically listening to the highway the entire time, which means you'll pretty much have this trail to yourself, as I doubt anyone ever hikes this section twice unless they're deaf or have a short memory. After a mile or so, the trail will get steep and less experienced riders may need to dismount in some places. After finally getting to the top of some pretty brutal climbs, the trail kind of loses elevation just to annoy you because, you know, everything in Oregon has to have some dorkifying factor that makes it slightly less cool than it could be. The forest here is unremarkable trees of unremarkable sizes, but is still a nice place to spend a summer day on your bike. A nice new addition to this trail is this little reroute that gets you around this section that used to be a steep hole that dropped a few hundred feet of elevation down to the highway only to gain it all back. Well, now you can just take this little reroute to the left. It's not the rippingest, fastest reroute ever, but it's effective, and it gets you out of a pretty soul-crushing climb coming back the other way. This reroute needed to happen, and we're all glad that it's here. Try not to miss it on your way back down. Every time I ride this trail, I forget how intense the climb really is. You'll definitely be feeling it by the time you get to this old mine shaft. It's definitely a hole in the ground with a fence around it. After the mine shaft, there's some more pointless elevation loss that you're going to definitely be punished for later. From this ridge past the mine shaft, you can see the 39 road. Near the end of the 39 road, there's this neat little tunnel that goes under an old road grade. So after you've climbed this, you'll realize climbing the road would have been a great idea, as it would have saved you some serious pain. Unless, of course, climbing pain is what you're here for. Continue uphill, and after the intersection with the road, as the trail surface turns into pumice and ash that kind of sucks to ride your bike on, when you get to this confusing intersection right here, continue forward on the main trail. Don't turn right. The section going straight forward is actually a reroute around a very steep section of trail that's a total blast on the way down, but profanity-inducing on the way up. Keep going straight at all intersections, following the most heavily trafficked trails, as you'll eventually come to this sign. Stay on Pioneer Bridle at this sign, and eventually you'll get to this parking lot with signs in it that's obviously somewhere people come to go cross-country skiing in the winter, but always for some reason in the summer has confused pedestrians getting out of their cars and wandering around. I'm not even sure how they find this place or why. Do not ponder this, just stay on the trail and keep climbing. Once you put this place behind you, you'll find this little pea trail off to the left that leads to Enid Lake. Sometimes it has water in it. So once you're up to this point, it's basically a network of ski trails you're riding on, and you can kind of do whatever you want now. What I usually do is find one of the connectors that heads down toward Government Camp, ride it into Govey, get tacos, and decide from there whether I want to continue climbing up to Timberline Lodge. If you do want to climb up to the lodge, ride up to the rest area at the top of town. It's where Summit Ski Area is located. From here, ride up to the end of the parking lot out to the wrong side of Highway 26, where you'll ride along for a few hundred yards until you get to this Do Not Enter sign, where in this video some random guy in a yellow shirt is standing for no apparent reason. Turn left at the sign, then turn left again toward the sign that says heavy truck traffic, and continue up the hill. West Leg Road is a 5.5 mile, 2,000 foot climb up to Timberline Lodge that eventually takes you under all the lifts, and it's one that you should ride at least once in your life. It's a way for you to earn your turns as you virtuously climb the hill rather than shuttle it.